And we're back for some more Sangatsu no Lion. So, last episode, which is the first episode, we are introduced to Rei Kiriyama, our main character. And unfortunately, he has a lot of issues that he needs to deal with, especially when it comes to like the past. Unfortunately, Rei Kiriyama himself is a character who is stuck in the past, who cannot really see the future or the present. Despite the fact that there are a lot of people in the present who is looking out for him, taking care of him. But again, Rei Kiriyama is a character with, I would say, a lot of baggage, a lot of pressure on him, right? And this whole journey, as I've discussed in the first episode, it's not just a journey of becoming better as a person, but it's also a journey of self-healing, especially for Rei. He needs to face the past because he's been kind of neglecting it. Kind of still, I guess, he still believes that the past is the present, even though that is not the case, right? Especially when it comes to like his interaction with his father, right? So there's a lot of stuff going on in his mind, and if you want to hear more about it, you can just go watch my first episode reaction, and specifically when it comes to like my discussion, because I talk about that first episode a lot, maybe too much, but it is what it is. So anyways, we're gonna be watching episode 2. I don't know if I'm gonna be watching episode 3. I guess I'm just gonna mention this again since I did mention it in the first episode, in case somebody don't know it. Yes, I have watched the first 3 episodes of Zangatsu like a long time ago, and that is the extent of my knowledge for the show. So episodes 2 and 3 aren't technically but blind reactions, but again, it's been a long time. I've discovered a lot of new things when I was first watching it again in my previous episode reaction, and I am hoping that is going to be the case with episode 2 as well, so I'm really excited nonetheless. As always, there's going to be a full uncut reaction or unedited version in the description below because you're watching the timer-based reaction on YouTube, because obviously the copyright for Sangatsu is notorious, to say the least. But yeah, if you want to watch the full unedited version, it's available in the description for free. Just head on down there in the description. There's a link. But if you do want to support me, you can head on over to Patreon. You can get early access to this show and a bunch of other shows that I'm currently watching. So that's it for my intro. And I guess I'll just say, if you do enjoy my reaction and my discussion, hit the like and subscribe and share the video. And without any further ado, I guess let's continue on with Sangatsu no Lion, episode 2. Haha. Nikaidou. Also Nikaidou in the light, Rei in the dark. Right, I remember you. Competition. Not worth your time. Friends? It keeps going. The standard. Very meta. Subtly telling the audience that Nikaidou is somebody who is rich. Hey, we got a little bit of color in his room in the form of pizza boxes. All right then. Yeah, that figures. Mm-hmm. We've talked about this in the previous episode about Rei and water. Uh, oh, they're playing a piano version of the song that played in the first episode, the French song, during the same like montage sequence. That's cool. Who this? All right, a broadcasted tournament. Yeah, go quietly. Oh my god. It's like every character is so eccentric and over the top, except for Rei for Kiriyama. Oh, there's a character with a blonde hair. Interesting. Immediately catches my eye. What the fuck? So a foreigner? Immediately beats him, right? Okay. Interesting choice of music. Love how deadpan Kiriyama's like expression is. He is in the zone, complete seriousness. Whereas Matsumoto is, just having fun in general. Now, if only I understand those symbols. Like I mentioned before, I know chess. Doesn't mean that I know shogi at all. Even though I know it's like similar in a way. Like it would help to know like which pieces are which. Well, you lost, Matsumoto. Familial ties. Wanted to make his grandpa proud. Tying back to Kiriyama and his father, his family. Akari's the older sister. I remember that. Oh my. Hmm. You gotta play the role, right? But that's because you know her true self. This isn't her real self, Kiriyama. But it's that sense of, again, familial ties, right? She's being formal to them, but not for you. Who is her voice actress? Her Seiyu. Hmm. Speaking of past experiences? Whoa. Backstory. And that's why they keep focusing on the water bottles ever since episode 1. There's significance in the water bottle because of this moment. Nice. Also Sangatsu, March City. Okay then. Somebody who took you in. Doesn't matter who you are, just pure kindness. Sure. Oh yeah, totally different. Emptiness. Okay. The other side of the bridge is alright, gotcha. So in context of the title of the show, there's many like meanings behind it. Yeah, we talked about this. Hmm. The monotonous, unordinary life. Hmm. This was hinted at in the ED. Interesting. Camera shot there. What was Obon again? I mean, something to do with Japanese tradition, but I just forgot about it. This is no good. Go back to our home. I'll make you dinner. Oh, that's gotta hurt. Oh. Oh my god, Momo. Just a cute blob. Oh. Cool shot. Black and white. Cuts the color. This is when he was brought back again. Nice. Cool cuts. I'm pretty sure it's not how pathetic that you see him that she sees, but it's how you actually needed help. And as always, the music. Beautiful. The show kind of captures the everyday life, the slice of life element really well, especially in terms of like creating atmosphere and a certain mood. Like you feel comfortable, right? Right, the spirits. Is this also a leitmotif of the song that they played during the montage? Hmm. Whoa. There was a there was another kid there. Sister, perhaps? But they're moving on. That's the difference. Uh, car crash. Probably because you never. Wow. Ah, yeah. Underneath that smile, she's also hiding some pain. Just maybe not as hard as Kiriyama's. Alright, I'm going to continue with episode 3 because, like I mentioned, this is the part where I stopped watching the show about a year ago because of certain reasons. But anyways, I just want to get over some of the episodes that I have actually seen. So next week's episode, um, will be me completely blind when it comes to Sangatsu no Lion. But anyways, let us continue with episode 3. I do remember some things in this episode, so certain things, I would say. Alright then, let us begin. The bright sunny sky. Wakey wakey. Time for the tournament. Oh, just, you know. You wanna be engulfed in more darkness, Rei? Is that it? Wow. Emptiness in his eyes. Okay. Have I mentioned how much I love the background art? Like the style of the background art? Yeah. Lost not because of talent, but because of weather. I wouldn't say that's arrogant, but you see how like the way they animate his hand. Red and blue. Desperation. Nice. Not nice for Nikaidou, but nice on the use of the balloons. Black and white once again. I love the way Rei is narrating this. The visual from episode 1 when he was in front of the train. Okay. A lot of people are already here. Oh, what? Wow. Oh my god. Once again, the meta-ness. Waku Waku. Oh my god. He's still. Oh my god. Ooh, I love that. Showing only one eye. Nikaidou doesn't have any drinks. Well, he has one. Wow. I love some of the framings of these shots. The summer heat. Once again. Time is ticking. He starts to sweat. And Kiriyama notices. Showing affection. Consideration. He's pushing it. Wow. I love how there's no music in this entire sequence. Just their dialogue and some sound effects. Kinda makes you soak in to the tournament, right? Wow, 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 that hand movement was beautifully done. He smiles, and the music kicks in. Kind of basically signaling a change in mind, like a change in stance for Kiriyama. Wow, everybody left except for them. But at least you lasted longer than before. The only red and blue there. Beautiful imagery. Stagnation. Staying like this forever and ever. Interesting. A state of unchange. Interesting, especially when it comes to like Rei Kiriyama as somebody who is living in the past. Wow. It's a more serious condition than we thought it was. Oh. Yeah. Well, condition since childhood. Yeah, but demo. Determination. Alright. Love these shots. A good way to transition between scene to scene. What's wrong with Momo? You must. These cats. And now it's time to say goodbye. Is that why Momo is crying? Because she doesn't want mom and grandma to leave. The lighting in that scene made her seem like angelic, like the bloom effect. Wow, a lot of atmospheric shots. Mm. You can see like subtle emotions in their expressions, like how they truly feel about all of this. Music playing in the back is beautiful. Emptiness, sadness. But the day is over, and the moon shines. Time to move on. That was not a genuine smile. Lies. Wow, the complete change in color from bright blue to... Wow. Not showing her eyes. Suppressing emotion. And the color comes back. Wow. Wow. Great shot. Steps in. Protects her. Hmm. Let it out. Let it out. Wow. Obviously not. Wow. Powerful. Powerful scene. Alright, so the first episode we focus on Rei Kiriyama. We establish his character and we establish his role and I guess position in this story as the main protagonist. Episodes 2 and 3 we focus a lot more on the side characters, the people that is around Rei Kiriyama. And most importantly, the false image that they would I guess the false image that they kind of gave to Rei Kiriyama in the first episode and to us the audience. The first episode we see them as, you know, these people who are entirely different from Rei Kiriyama as it seems, right? It's like they're living in a different world. It's fun, it's colorful, it's chaotic, it's over the top, it's frantic, and the reality is that these people also have something that they are hiding, right? It's not just Rei Kiriyama, it's not just you. Everybody else is also hiding something. The only difference is how they approach it and how they deal with it. And that is going to be, I guess, for now, from my understanding, is going to be the main issue, the main topic at hand, in which Rei Kiriyama must face. Which is, how do you deal with all of this? Each and every people deals with like problems in their own way. Rei Kiriyama handles it in a way that is suppressing and I'd say not progressive. But then you contrast that with everybody else, right? These people who are also suffering, but they take it differently. And well, I guess I am kind of jumping ahead here because I'm still kind of reviewing before I discuss things, but this specific moment in episode 3 is kind of like the best example of this. She is crying and I am not, as Rei Kiriyama says, even though they both are feeling kind of the same way in terms of like the past, but it's how they handle their emotions is different, and that's gonna be key, especially when it comes to Rei Kiriyama's character progression. But overall, these two sets of episodes are really sweet. They're fun, they're wholesome, but they're also sad, filled with emotion. It's definitely a lot more brighter than the first episode in terms of like the mood, and it makes sense, right? Because we're not just focusing on Rei Kiriyama and it's in the entirety of the episode. Now we're focusing on a lot of different characters, whether it be Nikaidou, whether it be Akari, whether it be Hinata. Also, I guess I'm just gonna mention this again, the music, as always, incredible music. And also a brilliant way of like choosing when not to use music, because sometimes shows, movies in general, they would kind of like overblow their music, like, hey, we need this music to carry out a specific emotion, a specific mood, a specific reaction from the audience. But sometimes silence is a lot better way at conveying these emotions, and just let some of the scenes play out for themselves. But yeah, overall, great sets of episodes, brilliantly done. The direction is phenomenal as always. It's great. It's fantastic. I don't know if you saw me kind of tearing up in the last moments of episode 3, but I kind of did. Beautifully done. All right, let us actually discuss the episode again, and let's go back to episode 2. Alright, episode 2 starts with Rei Kiriyama meeting with Nikaidou once again. Nikaidou kind of already taking the invitation to the match, going, ha ha ha, look at this, I'm gonna be fighting you again, eh? Rival, right? And I love how Rei Kiriyama is in the dark, Nikaidou is in the light. This is a very common thing to portray. Nothing new, nothing special, but whenever they do it, I'm gonna give praise, regardless. So we see Nikaidou again, kind of giving this false image of himself, being like happy-go-lucky. Hey, yeah, I'm really excited, fun, even though deep down he is suffering. He's in pain. I don't know what illness that he has contracts, but something to do with his kidneys. Kidney stones? No, right? Probably not, because that would an operation would fix that. I mean, yeah, it costs a lot of money, but like I was mentioning, right? A fun tone, being happy. Rei Kiriyama, I love this gag. He doesn't really care. He's like, alright, see you at the match. Okay then, good night. Bye-bye. Love it. I love this gag as well, how Nikaidou kind of bursts into the elevator, and then the doors kind of opening and closing. It's really funny. It's a nice visual gag. I enjoyed that a lot. How is their win in an elevator? I don't know, but anything can happen. Nikaidou's butler, assistant. Come on, you know what I'm about to say. You know who this resembles. I don't know if this is deliberate or not, but why does he look exactly like Colonel Sanders from Kentucky Fried Chicken? Why? I'm just gonna call him Colonel Sanders throughout this entire show then. Fun visual gag, and then we continue on with Nikaidou actually getting inside of Rei Kiriyama's room. And I was talked about his room a lot, extensively, even in the first episode, specifically about the use of color and about set design and whatever, and how wonderful it portrays monotony and simplicity, especially when it comes to like Rei Kiriyama's state of mind. And I mentioned like, I want to see this room slowly get filled with color. Nikaidou's kind of doing it right now. He walks in, grab a bunch of pizza boxes, kind of giving a slight, some color, right? Some fun mood, right? Pizza, come on, it's pizza. You have pizza when you have a party, right? To have fun. But of course, Rei Kiriyama is only sitting there. He sits alone on the far left. And I love how the clouds kind of blocks the moonlight, making everything more darker and darker and darker. Kind of also saying that, yeah, Rei's mind is like slowly being clouded and being like, why do I have to deal with you? Leave. Obviously, he's not like expressing that, but Kiriyama is definitely frustrated right now. It's obvious. Sure, the show is kind of making it for laughs, for comedic purposes, and I get that, but deep down, he is frustrated by this whole ordeal, by this whole situation. Alright then, we move on to the next chapter. Akari. Fitting. I guess I never really mentioned this in the first episode discussion, but I love how the way this show handles narration, especially from Rei Kiriyama. I know that's like a weird thing for me to say, like the way a show handles narration, but hear me out. Like when Rei Kiriyama narrates the show, narrates stuff, that means we are seeing the show through Rei Kiriyama's eye. This is the show from his perspective, right? And we know his current state of mind isn't really the best. So to see these visuals of like everyday life, the I want to say watercolored, painted backgrounds, and then just hearing his thoughts being narrated by him, and the dialogue itself, the way it is written, what does it like remind me of? Trying to figure out. It's definitely way more mature, right? I mean, Rei Kiriyama is like how many years old now? Still in his teens, right? And it's a common thing, for anime to have like teenagers or even young kids, to speak so eloquently, like philosophers. But sometimes when it's done right, and especially from like a character like Rei Kiriyama, I can believe that. And the thing is, it's only from Rei Kiriyama. It's not like everybody else is. It's like this. You know what I mean? I mean, for now, for episode 3, for now, but like a good example of this is going to be Your Lie in April. I enjoyed that show, don't get me wrong. I really like that show a lot. But not spoiling stuff, but Your Lie in April presents characters who are in their like in middle school, like they're 14-year-olds, right? 14, 15-year-olds, and all of them speak very maturely, I know that's like a weird criticism, because to me it's it's like a small nitpick that I have for that show, because it's like, okay, every character is like young, but they're speaking in a way that is not appropriate for their age. And when I say not appropriate for their age, I mean like speaking like they're like 60-year-old philosophers. Not all the time, but you know, during moments like this that we are seeing right now, where they're just walking and just like gazing upon like their everyday lives, speaking in rhymes and riddles. I don't mind that at all, but when you have everyone doing it, I don't know. I guess it's like a personal nitpick from me. I know that may sound weird for all of you, but when it comes to like Sangatsu no Lion right now, the reason why I don't mind it and the reason why I actually do enjoy it is because it's only coming from the main character. It's more of an, I don't want to say an exaggeration, but it's more of a, it's his state of mind being translated into words. And I love that. I love that. Especially when it comes to like Rei Kiriyama as a character who's like always brooding and always like, he never smiles. He only smiled like once or twice. It's very effective. It's very effective. And I also love how in this specific sequence, I'm not gonna play it, but I'm pretty sure when this sequence was playing, they're also playing like the music when that they use in the first episode, the insert song, right? But it's more of a piano version, an instrumental, right? Kind of showing again, it's the same mundane life over and over and over again, something that is repeating, and he kind of talked about this in like the next episode, in episode 3, which is how when he was fighting with Nikaidou, how this is gonna be a cycle that is endlessly going to be repeating. It's never gonna change, right? So, love the montages again. He comes in, he sees somebody called, can't even read my own notes. Matsumoto. Let me see if I can find it here. Matsumoto, yeah. Again, like I said, characters showing that they're way too fun, they're way too over the top. But it's because they're trying to contrast them with Kiriyama, right? Kiriyama is living in a very depressed world. And the problem is he doesn't really see his surrounding is so positive. Kiriyama is just not letting that positivity get into his own world, get into himself, because he shuts himself off. He is still living in the past, and he needs to move on from whatever trauma or dealings or problems that he had with his family before. We continue on, and then we fight in this tournament. We meet Mr. Smith, but here we kind of see like the difference in tone, very different. In fact, Rei Kiriyama, very much serious, very much in the zone, right, when it comes to like shogi. And then you have Matsumoto, who is very happy-go-lucky. He obviously he is taking the shogi match seriously. I mean, yeah, of course he is a player, but he's not like, it's not like shogi is his entire life, right? He's not treating shogi as something that is his entire life. But then you contrast that with Rei Kiriyama, who, as far as we know and as far as the show and the story is trying to portray, is someone who only knows shogi as the only purpose he has in life, right? And I kind of talked about this in like the first episode. I don't know, it's kind of like, well, imagine if Rei Kiriyama is like Magnus Carlsen or Hikaru Nakamura, right? Professional chess players. And then they're playing against like Twitch streamers like XQC or Moist Critical. I don't know why I made that example, but there it is. The match continues on. Rei Kiriyama wins, obviously. I kind of mentioned this, how I kind of wish I know which pieces are which, because again, I know a bit of chess. I just don't know shogi because I don't know which one is which, so I don't know like the position of which pieces are in this specific shot right now. And it's not like I have to. That's the thing though. Much comes in like a lion. While yes, it is about shogi, but it's not really about shogi. It's not. Shogi is just in the back. It's in the background. It's not something that you need to like completely understand in order to follow the story. No, because Much Comes In Like a Lion is a character-driven story about Rei Kiriyama. So, moving on, Rei Kiriyama wins the match, obviously. Poor Matsumoto, crying in tears of his defeat. But hey, don't you want to see Akari? Akari? Oh? The mood immediately changes. Suddenly, colors everywhere. Even the style of animation changes. And I submit. I lose. So, Akari is like one of the best characters in the show. Yes, are we in agreement? Yes. I love her so much. She radiates so many positive energy, and of course, deep down, she is hiding something, right? And we kind of get to that later on in episode 3, right, when it comes to like the mother and the grandmother, but she doesn't really it's not as much as Hinata, but I lost. I lost. Moving on. Kind of ogling a bit too much there, but Akari once again radiating that positive energy, but again showing affection, showing as somebody who works in a bar, right? Akari, I mean, you have to serve your customers, right? And here we have like when Rei Kiriyama asked, like, is that the same Akari? I don't think that is the same Akari, as Rei Kiriyama says. And I find it interesting because there's like a difference between the real Akari and the Akari that is working, right? But they both have something in common, and that is both these Akaris, they love to help people in need, right? When it comes to her working right now, that's her job, right? That she is supposed to help people, right? To help customers, right? To accommodate them. But in real life, she is also the same way, and this is the difference, right? Sometimes when it comes to like other people, they would seem friendly and happy, and they would seem like they would, like to help you. But that's only their job, right? meet them in real life and they may not necessarily act that way. Akari is different. She acts the same way whether it is real or whether it is just her doing her job, right? And that is important. That is important, especially to Rei Kiriyama. Because he needs somebody who is honest in his life. And again, while I did mention, like, all of these characters aren't necessarily being honest to themselves, because yeah, they're deep down they're hiding something, right? Except maybe for Momo. I think Momo is like the most pure character in this entire show. She is the most innocent character, right? But when it comes to like Akari, at least she is showing both affection, both care and attention to people around her, especially for Rei Kiriyama. And we kind of get a glimpse of the past somewhere around here. But before that, she mentioned something that I find interesting. Where is it? Somewhere around here. You're lucky to be in the company of these fun older guys today, Kiriyama. They won't force you to drink, so it's a fun and bright kind of drinking. Matsumoto further clarifies this, saying, yeah, I would never force anyone to drink alcohol. And we see like Akari smiling here. That is a fake smile. She's obviously doing this because, it's her job. You're supposed to smile, right? It's your job, right? Like when you go to restaurants and whatever, these employees, they are told to smile. You're supposed to smile. That's your job. You're supposed to radiate positive energy for your customers so they would feel welcome, right? You don't want to come into a restaurant or a bar or whatever place, and be greeted by somebody who is like feeling down. Like, no. You need to wear a mask to showcase, yeah, hello, how are you doing? Can I get your seat? Be happy. Even though deep down they're probably not. And it's probably a very taxing job. Not saying that it is a very taxing job for Akari, but judging from this dialogue, Akari says there are scary older friends too. The kind that would force you to drink until you black out and then abandon you in front of the club. Of course, they cut immediately to Rei, because again, she was talking about like abandoning outside of the club, but that's not really what she is actually talking about. No. There's something there. There's something there. There's another past that is hidden there. Interesting. What I will say is I cannot wait for the show to dive deeper into all of these characters and not just Rei Kiriyama. Really excited for that. So, Rei Kiriyama got help by Akari. And Akari radiating... sorry. I guess I kept saying radiating. But Akari showing, hey, you are in need of help, and I am here, so I will help you. No buts. No what ifs. Just straight up, let me help you. Genuine affection. And in the first episode, we kind of focus a lot on drinks, right? On water bottles. And maybe I'm reading too much into this, but I want to say water is also like I mentioned in the first episode how water plays a key role in Rei Kiriyama's life, right? Being sunken down into the bottom of the sea, under pressure of a lot of water, being in complete total darkness, like drowning himself, right? That part is scary. That part is negative. but there's also some positives, right? And in this case, it's from Akari. Water is also the thing that saved Rei Kiriyama. Akari gave him a water bottle. Here, have a drink. And let's get you home. Goodness, you're just skins and bones. Kind of like me. But then we see Rei Kiriyama finally being in this home for the first time, and then we see again, like I was mentioning, Akari still acting the way she is. And it's genuine. Care and attention. Something that Rei Kiriyama needs because it is something that he is totally missing in his life before. So, we move on from that whole sequence because I'm probably gonna be talking for that whole sequence and Akari for like over an hour, and I don't want to. Time is ticking, obviously. But once again, mundane everyday life, black and white, no color, depression, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a study, right? There was a study that was conducted on like people and certain mood swings and whatever, and like one of the studies kind of showcases that people who are like suffering like severe depression and whatever kind of sees the world in a very black and white, bleak way. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard that before. And in any case, that is exactly what is being portrayed here when it comes to Rei Kiriyama, right? And here, he mentioned it as well. The moment I met people, it felt like the other side of the bridge lit up in full color. He told me to come over anytime. But did they mean it? That hesitation, that doubt, because of his past, because of his own experiences. I don't want to be lied to again, right? I don't want to be manipulated again. Kind of slowly adding in subtle details about his past. I kind of like that in terms of like how they're writing the dialogue in the show. But still, just having a place where I was told to come over to make me happy and my stomach feel full. They may be tricking me, but at least I'm happy, right? I was mentioning like interesting camera shots, like here. It's kind of like a really small fisheye effect. I don't know. It's interesting, to say the least. Right then, they meet again in the convenience store. Happy-go-lucky fun times, radiating positive energy again, just as Rei Kiriyama mentions that before, right? Love this shot. Wow, beautiful shot. I guess I've talked about this multiple times already, concerning about light and dark and how effective use of lighting can tell a visual storytelling. So, you know, I think it's kind of obvious what I'm trying to say here. They're in the dark, going into the light, but it's good. It's good. I'm gonna gush about this every time it pops in the video. Amazing. Care and attention. Happy life. Then Rei Kiriyama says something interesting. They're still reminiscing, or anything during dinner. The wounds are probably still too fresh. Also showing Hinata and Hina and their wound. Not even dry yet, And they're here in this house. What was it like for me? Showing a car crash. How his family died, I suppose, his mom and dad. But when did I stop crying? How long did it take me to regain my composure? It's strange, I can't remember. And I said this in the reaction. The reason why you can't remember is probably because you never really gained composure. Because you never let go. At least that's how I'm interpreting this. You can't remember it because you never really move on. You're still in the past. And ever since that day, you don't know what else to do, and the only thing that is keeping you going is shogi. And somehow that becomes your life. Another cool and interesting thing that they mention here is this. Having company over will be a good distraction. I guess I've talked about this again and again and again in this video, but again, I have to emphasize this. These are people who are hiding their pain. It's not just Rei Kiriyama, it's everybody here. Apart from Momo, again. Momo is way too innocent. But it's also the idea of Rei Kiriyama realizes this, right? Because this is from him, it's in quotations. This is how he is feeling. And the fact that he says this, but her voice was so soft that I couldn't hear her clearly. So it may not actually be what she is actually thinking this entire time. I would like to believe that it is. But again, this is from Rei Kiriyama's perspective. This is coming from the perspective of somebody who, again, sees the world in a very bleak way. Right? Not saying that Rei Kiriyama is an unreliable narrator, but you have to take into account that we are seeing the world from Rei Kiriyama's perspective. He is the narrator. He is the one who is telling the story. Interesting. That is the end of the episode. Let us move on to episode 2. Sorry, I meant episode 3. But moving on, the episode starts with Rei Kiriyama back in his room. So bright. I want to have curtains. I don't want light to come in here. Reclusive. Wants to be in total darkness. Depression. Rei Kiriyama eats how college kids with barely any allowance by the end of the month does. Trust me. I've been in this situation. Trust me. It's the end of the month. You're not getting any allowance until like a few more days. You're running out of money. You barely have anything to eat, so you're gonna have to ration things. Oh my god, so relatable. But then we continue on. The first half of this episode, we are dealing with Nikaidou, right? And here we see like the difference between a person who, how do I put this? It's the difference between somebody who is a professional and somebody who is not a professional. The difference between somebody who is calm because he knows he's going to win, and a person who is trying to prove themselves that they can be better. Nikaidou is that person. He wants to beat him. He wants to prove himself that he is worthy as an opponent, right? As a rival. But the bar is so high up. How can I reach him? And it's even more of a problem considering that Nikaidou has his own personal struggles, both physically and his health. Rei Kiriyama doesn't have those limitations, so the fact that Nikaidou, as somebody who has those limitations, who is pushing it ever forward, shows admiration and shows how much he cares. But it can get, I would say, dangerous. Know your limits. Don't push yourself way too hard. If you do, you're only going to hurt yourself. So, friendly advice, you can push yourself, don't get me wrong. You can push yourself, but know your limit. If you feel like you reached your limit, then stop. Just stop. There's no shame in stopping. But Nikaidou doesn't want to stop. He wants to continue. He wants to move. He wants to push ever forward. The human sitting in front of me, drenched in sweat and reeling from the sun, was here because he wanted to win. Rei Kiriyama wanted to give him a pass, like, okay, I need to defeat you fast, immediately, because I feel bad for you. But that's not what Nikaidou wants. No. Rei Kiriyama is looking down at Nikaidou. He is not seeing him as an equal, and that will change later on in the episode. It's going to be a long battle, showing the two balloons, red and blue. But unfortunately, it was never meant to be. One soars high and the other stuck. Nikaidou loses. Black and white. Once again. I silently gazed at him, no emotion whatsoever. No emotion whatsoever. Wow. He was reminiscing about that as he is walking. That is the thing that he is remembering, that is on loop in his mind as he walks towards the Shogi Hall. But here he says something interesting. Becoming a pro is like jumping onto a moving train that doesn't stop. And it's not like jumping into the tracks. No. It's getting into the train, and then the train just goes around in circle. No stopping point. An infinite loop. Monotonous. Mundane. You can never get off of it. Not until you lose and fall off. The only way to stop this mundanity? Is that word? The only way to stop this endless loop is for you to get hurt. That is basically what the show is saying. And hurt not in the physical sense, obviously not. No. You can't stay in this stagnated life that you are living right now. Right? That is exactly what Rei Kiriyama is experiencing right now. And I feel like, wow, how a lot of people are experiencing right now, right? You can just go about your everyday life, wake up, turn on your computer, go watch an anime, eat, sleep, rinse and repeat, over and over and over again. Are you happy? Are you happy? If you want to change, then the only person that can change is yourself. You're the only one who has the power and capability to do so. But if I change, then that means this whole situation, this whole formulaic daily life that I've been living will change as well, and I don't know if I want to change, right? Right? But I like it here. But I do want to change, but I like it here. And if I change, then that life will probably not be the same again, and I don't know if I'm going to like my new life. Change means I have to actively do something new, something that is uncomfortable, something that I've never done before, something that if I do it wrong can hurt. Wow. Great use of the train analogy in the specific episode. Beautiful. Because again, it's like some people just don't want to change because they're fine the way it is. They're fine with the life they had right now, even if their life right now is technically miserable and depressing. But they don't want to change because it's the fear of changing and making things worse, right? They don't want to make things worse. That's why they are confirmed in they are comfortable with whatever life that they are dealing with right now, even if it is hurtful, right? Even if it is painful. In this small universe, it's an endless cycle of victory and defeat until you start losing your mind as you gasp, I don't want to lose. Yeah. So, he walks in, and here, I guess I never really noticed this. Interesting. You see the difference in Rei Kiriyama as like, I would say, mood and how he goes about it between fighting his father and fighting Nikaidou. When he was fighting his father, he came first. He was the first person there, right? Nobody was there. He was there first. He sits and he waits in silence, waiting for his opponent. But when it comes to Nikaidou, he came in rather late. He's probably the last one to come, in fact. Interesting. I don't want to dive deeper into it because obviously I want to learn more about his family dynamic, but from that interaction between Rei and those two people, there's some things that we can gather, right? We can either talk about respect, it can either be a show of power, or it could also just be, a sign of how Rei Kiriyama sees these people, right? Fighting his father, top of the game. Fighting Nikaidou, don't really care, so I'm just gonna be late. But anyways, we move on to whatever this is. Rei Kiriyama is in shambles. What the fuck is this? Waku Waku. Walks in, gets ready for the match. And then they fight. It's an awful long fight. No music. Just them and the shogi pieces. Their expressions, their emotions, and the sound effects carry this entire scene. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. But then the heat, the scorching sun comes in, and Rei Kiriyama notices something that he was never able to do in the past. He does here in the present, showing affection. Even if it is just saying, hey, is the air conditioning alright? But that shows growth. That shows care and attention. Something that he never really showed to his father. Right? So, this may as well be the positive energy, the influence that the sisters have on him right now. Even if he does say this with the most deadpan face you could possibly think of, no emotion, just moody and sad all the time, but he's showing affection, and that kind of, I think that affection kind of drove Nikaidou, right, giving him an extra pounce, like, oh my god, Rei Kiriyama notices me. Rei Kiriyama sees me as an equal. He cares about me. He wants me to be good, so we can play better, right? Let's continue. Determination, and the music kicks in. Beautiful, beautifully done. Beautifully done. And Nikaidou is pushing it, even making Rei Kiriyama like surprised, like, whoa, this move, whoa, interesting, right? Cool. This hand shot, I don't know why, but it's so good. What? It's the fact that it is slow. Did they rotoscope this? I mean, obviously they would need like a reference, right? But that is hard to do. That is hard to do. It's okay, the hands is on 2s, but the background is in 1s. That's good to know. I'm going frame by frame. No, but here it's on 1s because it's way smoother. 1, 1, 1, 1. Yeah, cool. Good job. Whoever animated this, good job. Beautiful. Because there's so much power in that shot. I don't know. I know that's kind of weird for me to say, but it is. Like there's a certain feeling that specific shot is trying to tell the audience. It's Rei Kiriyama going, okay, time to be serious, right, as he adjusts his glasses. Yeah. And for the first time, I think, he smiles. He's having fun. He is actually having fun. And that's something that he wasn't really experiencing when he was playing shogi before. It's all just a job, but now it's a game, right? Don't want to lose either. The competition begins. Of course, obviously, I'm gonna skip this. And Nikaidou lost, and then we get the reveal that he is suffering from an illness with his kidneys. I sure hope that Nikaidou will be fine throughout the rest of the series, otherwise that would be a problem and I don't want to see him suffer. Please? Okay, show? Okay. But let's move on. We reach the final chapter of this episode. The last day of Obon. Time to say goodbye to mom and grandma. And you see in this entire sequence, everybody seems happy, fun, colorful, everybody, the cats too. Even grandpa is like, yeah, I'm gonna go back to sleep. Drank too many beers. And it is beers. It says it right here. But you have to light the ceremonial fire first. Time to say goodbye to grandma and mom. Akari explaining this whole situation. Shall we see them off? And I love how the light is kind of overblowing it a bit, so that there's a slight bloom in her, kind of makes it seem more angelic. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just in charm of Akari being beautiful character. But we set the fire. The small dim light in the darkness. And you kind of see everybody's like emotion in their facial expression. Even though it's still images. Kind of see it. We see it in Hina. She doesn't want this. She is sad. Momo still being innocent, but you know, there's genuine emotion in Momo. She is definitely like the one who is like sad, but she's like showing it, whereas Hina is like sad but doesn't want to show it. And then we have Akari, who seems to be more at peace, right? She seems to be like, yeah, this is sad, but you know, she's the more mature of the three, obviously. And she is more or less feeling like, yeah, hope you're having, you know, a safe trip. You know, speaking to her mom and grandmom and grandmother. And then Samoji, the grandpa, you know, obviously, he's been through this whole situation a lot. Not that he is unfazed, but he knows the situation quite well. He has pretty much suppressed his emotions. Sad ceremony that only brings back painful memories. And I'm sure Rei Kiriyama hasn't really done this before. At least towards his mom and dad. Hina then decides to go. A fake smile. Can't fool everybody, even in this shot. She leaves. She runs away. The mood changes, the color tone. Eerie. Feeling kind of like disgusted a bit, you know. But that's just like how I would say Hina's character's like state of mind, her emotion right now is like jumbled all over the place, right? Chaotic. She walks away. She doesn't want her emotions to be seen. She's keeping this to herself. And as Rei Kiriyama follows her, she founds her. The color goes back up. The moonlight shines once again. Why? Because the emotions are finally let out. True to herself, she cries. The glass shatters. The mask, right? It shatters. The perfect image is gone. You're seeing her true self. She cries in pain, sadness, no audio, no music whatsoever, just the pure visual storytelling. And her scream is loud. It's silent, but it's loud. You can hear it. She cries again and again and again, calling out for her mother. Rei Kiriyama can only watch. No emotion. No emotion. Deep down, he does feel sadness. He wrings at his clothes. And yet, he can't really emote. This was a fucking incredible shot. What the fuck? That's a 2D. Yeah, that's a 2D character. Composited in a 3D world space. Beautifully done too. Kiriyama, I'm sorry, I'll go back in a minute. No. Cry it out. No need to be scared. Be yourself. Be honest. Let's stay here for a while. Let's look at the moonlight. But he gave up on crying because I thought it was pointless. Doesn't want to feel emotion. Drives them away. Emptiness in his heart. Complete darkness. Was that really the right thing to do? Obviously not. But that's just how the story's gonna go. She's crying. But he's not. Beautiful end to this episode. That is the end of my discussion for episodes 2 and 3, and I am officially anime. Well, yeah. This is the last episode that I watched before I stopped watching like over a year ago. So, moving forward, I am going to be mostly, well, not mostly, I'm going to be completely blind. I don't know what to expect later on. But I'm really excited. I'm really excited. So far, 3 episodes in, Sangatsu's discussion has been really fun on my end. I really enjoyed them a lot. I hope you guys enjoyed my discussions as well, because if you are watching right until this very moment, thank you. Thank you. Yes, that's pretty much it for me and my discussion for Sangatsu no Lion. Again, if you do enjoy my reaction, hit the like, subscribe. Early access available on Patreon, so if you want to watch the next episode, it should be available on Patreon right now. So, that is all from me. Hope you guys have a wonderful and fantastic day, and I will see you all next time. Take care, guys.